The celestial void is not just a physical space, it is a psychic echo chamber. On the world of Mnemosyne, we encountered the most insidious enemy yet, the memory architects. They are not warriors. They are artists of trauma. They are towering, ethereal beings that don't bring weapons to the battlefield. Instead, they reach into the minds of their enemies, pull out their deepest, most primal fears and regrets, and then physically manifest them into reality. When the first expeditionary force landed, they didn't find a hostile army. They found their own personal hells. A soldier terrified of drowning found himself fighting in an endless ocean of cold water. A veteran with PTSD found himself trapped in a never-ending loop of the battle where he lost his squad. A woman who had lost her child to a fire found herself surrounded by burning nurseries. The architects didn't kill the soldiers. They let the soldiers' own minds tear them apart. The entire planet was a canvas of suffering, a landscape that shifted and twisted to maximize the psychological torture of anyone who set foot on it. Traditional warfare was useless. You can't shoot a hallucination that can physically hurt you. You can't bomb a memory. The Federation realized that to fight an enemy that weaponizes your past, you must have no past to weaponize. They created the 00-Tage Psychic Defense Unit, the Tabula Rasa. We are volunteers who have undergone a radical, irreversible procedure, total retrograde amnesia induction. We have no memories before we woke up in the barracks this morning. We don't know our names, our families, our homes, or our fears. We are blank slates. Our minds are smooth, polished surfaces with no cracks for the architects to pry open. We wear featureless, matte white armor designed to offer no visual stimuli. Our weapons are psionic dampener rifles that fire focused bursts of anti-psychic energy. We are the ghosts with guns, the only ones who can walk through hell and not get burned. I am Unit 734. And today we are going to erase the artist. The drop onto Mnemosyne was like falling into a fever dream. The sky was a swirling vortex of colors that felt like emotions, red for anger, gray for despair. Below us, the landscape was a chaotic, impossible mess of architecture and nature. Buildings twisted into Mobius strips, staircases led to nowhere, and forests of gallows stretched to the horizon. Tabula Rasa, prepare for psychic contact. Dampeners hot. Focus on the mission. Find the anchor architect and neutralize it. The commander's voice was flat, devoid of inflection. He didn't know who he was either. We hit the ground running. The ground beneath my boots was squishy like walking on old flesh. Around us, the battlefield erupted into chaos as the other units, the ones who still had their memories, were overwhelmed. To my left, a squad of Marines was screaming, firing wildly into the air. The ground around them had transformed into a pit of writhing, venomous snakes, the collective phobia of their sergeant. A massive, shadowy figure loomed over them, its face a shifting collage of their dead fathers, whispering accusations. I looked at it and felt nothing. No fear. No recognition. My mind was a calm, empty room. A memory architect floated above us, a towering figure of swirling light and fragmented mirrors. It turned its attention to my squad. I felt a pressure in my skull, a desperate, clawing attempt to find a hook, a memory, a fear. It found only static. The architect let out a psychic shriek of frustration. It tried to brute force a manifestation. The ground around us rippled. For a second, a vague, flickering image of a burning house tried to form. But there was no fuel for the fire. The image wavered, distorted into a blob of meaningless light, and then dissolved into blank white static. It can't get a lock. Dampeners free. Light it up. We raised our rifles and fired. 5 beams of intense purple energy lanced through the psychic miasma. They struck the architect in its center mass. The entity writhed, its form flickering and destabilizing. The purple energy was like acid to its psychic structure. The mirrors on its body cracked and the swirling light dimmed. The other architects in the area sensed the threat. They turned their attention to us, abandoning the torture of the other soldiers. They focused their combined power on the Tabula Rasa unit. The air around us became thick with psychic pressure. The ground shifted violently. The architects tried to manifest generic fears, darkness, fire, falling. The world around us turned into a pitch-black void. I could feel the sensation of falling, the wind rushing past my armor. Unit 734. Status? The commander's voice cut through the darkness. Status falling. No emotional response. Continuing fire vector. We didn't panic. We just kept firing our dampener rifles into the darkness, aiming for the psychic signatures of the architects. The purple beams illuminated the void, revealing the flickering forms of the entities. We hit the ground, or what passed for the ground in this nightmare. The darkness shattered like glass. We were back on the chaotic battlefield. Pushed to the anchor. It's in the center of that spiraling tower. The anchor architect was the most powerful of them all, the one holding the entire planetary illusion together. It was located at the top of a massive, twisting tower made of solidified nightmares. We fought our way up the tower. The architects threw everything they had at us. The stairs turned into razor blades. The walls bled acid. Phantom soldiers, manifestations of the squad's forgotten comrades, charged us with bayonets. We didn't recognize them. We cut them down with the same cold efficiency as we did the snake pits and the fire demons. Our blank armor reflected the madness, refusing to absorb it. We reached the top of the tower. The anchor architect was there, a colossal being of pure, blinding psychic energy. It was plugged into the planet's core, feeding on the collective trauma of millions. It saw us. It tried one last time. It focused its entire power on me, the point man. I felt a massive psychic hammer blow to my mind. For a microsecond, a crack appeared in the amnesia. A flash of a face, a woman with kind eyes, appeared in the static. A feeling of warmth, of love, and then of crushing loss. No, my conditioned mind responded. Data irrelevant. Erase. The memory was shoved back into the void. The static returned, louder and stronger than before. The anchor architect shrieked in horror. It had touched the emptiness and recoiled. Now, all rifles. Maximum output. We poured everything we had into the anchor. 5 streams of high-intensity antipsychic energy slammed into the entity. The reaction was catastrophic for the architects. The anchor's form began to unravel. The light turned a sickly green, then a dying gray. The tower beneath us began to crumble. The nightmare landscape of Mnemosyne began to dissolve. The burning houses, the snake pits, the gallows, they all flickered and faded into white mist. The anchor architect let out one final planet-wide psychic scream before it exploded in a massive shockwave of purple and white energy. The blast knocked us off our feet, sending us tumbling down the dissolving tower. We hit the ground hard. The world was quiet now. The psychic pressure was gone. The sky above was a normal, boring gray. The ground was just dirt. I stood up, dusting off my white armor. I looked around at my squad. We were all alive. We were all still blank. Status? The commander asked. Unit 734, green. No memories detected. Mission complete. We looked at the devastation around us. The other soldiers were slowly waking up from their personal hells, confused and traumatized. They would remember everything. We would remember nothing. And that was fine. Humanity had proven the ultimate truth of the celestial void. You can try to use our past against us. You can try to build a prison out of our own minds. But we are the species that invented the eraser. We are the ones who can choose to forget. And sometimes, forgetting is the only way to win. We are the Tabula Rasa. We have no history, no trauma, and no fear. We are the blank page that you cannot write on. The architects are erased. Mnemosyne is quiet. The slate is clean. The mission is over. We are going home to a barracks we don't remember, to sleep a sleep with no dreams.